All right, George Rose, we had a face-off, Tszyu-Joey Spencer. A lot of, respect, but it was, you could see a little bit of tension there. What'd you make of that?
Yeah, 100% bit of tension there. I mean, they both know how much is on the line for the pair of them in this fight. But they both look in great shape. Two young, hungry fighters in great shape, ready to get it on April 6th. I think it's going to be a really good fight.
A lot of talk about Tszyu's mental state and his mentality today. Why do you think that is? Why are all these journalists so concerned about Tszyu's mentality?
Well, I think because Tim hasn't been talking to no one. He hasn't been talking to none of the journalists, and everybody wants to know. Everybody wants to know how he's at, where he's at, because I think what everyone realises from that last fight is it wasn't his talent that lost him the fight. It was his approach. Like he fought differently to how anyone's seen him fight, and I guess that's why everyone's asking how's his headspace and what's his plan coming into this fight. And I think he's learnt some really good lessons from the last one, but at the same time he's going to put on a fantastic show for everyone on April 6th.
Massive turnout today. You must be excited to put a Tszyu show back here in Australia.
It's just a different energy when Tszyu fights in Australia. There's nothing like it. It's I love it. I love it every time Tim fights here in Australia. There's a big energy leading up to it. The activations that we have leading up. The fight week's going to be even better. So this is just an entree for how good fight week's going to be. But it's a great turnout and shows how much support Tszyu has here in Australia from the Australian public and Australian boxing.
Now, a brutal win by Keith Thurman last week against Brock Jarvis. How do you reflect on that night and look to do business with Keith Thurman again?
Keith was an absolute pleasure to work with. I thought he was fantastic in his performance. Brock put everything on the line. I really appreciate Brock's approach to it too. He came at Thurman, he threw everything he had at him, and Thurman's just world class. He just showed that he is still world class. We were talking about that leading up to it. The question's going to be was Thurman, past it? Had he got old, or was he still on that level? And he came out and reminded everybody what he can do in a boxing ring, and absolutely delivered.
Fair to say that Tszyu wins this fight, you'll look to make Tszyu Thurman, and a lot of criticism last time about looking too far ahead. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, my job is to look too far ahead. My job is to plan the next 4 fights for Tim, and to plan the pathway for him. As far as he's going, his approach, he is focused on Joey Spencer, absolutely. The questions are coming around Thurman, and he'll answer them respectfully, but he's 100% focused on Joey Spencer. But me, I'm looking at Keith Thurman. I really loved what he did here in Australia. I thought everything he did leading up to the fight, I thought his performance in the ring, even the dancing on the way out to the ring, the dancing after the win, it's a personality that I really enjoyed working with, and I'd love to work with him again. So, we'll see how everything plays out with this fight, and I'd love to really work towards making that happen as a next fight. I'd love to get him back out here.
Now, you dropped the schedule a couple of weeks ago. Now, a big year ahead. Show in May, show in June, show in July. Can you sort of reveal any more details about those shows, or we got to wait a bit longer?
You got to wait, man. You got to wait.
We know the locations, though, right?
You do know the locations, and that's the most important part. You can plan ahead there. So what's coming on those cards? I mean, we've shown you that we said last week was going to be a really good card, and it absolutely delivered. Every one of them fights was very, very entertaining. I thought that some of them knockout finishes were outstanding, and probably in the running for knockout of the year, a few of them. So it was really good. I'm telling you now that this card's going to be even better, and then it only gets better from there. So you got a lot of good stuff to look forward to this year.
Liam Paro is signing a couple of weeks ago as well. What sort of year is ahead for Liam Paro, do you think?
Yeah, get back in the ring. That's the first goal for Liam Paro. Get him back in the ring, reintroduce him to the Australian public. Let him know just how bloody good he is. Liam Paro is one of our best fighters in the country, absolutely one of our best fighters in the country, and everybody needs to know that. Everybody needs to know his name. Everybody needs to know what he can do. He's got a great story. He represents far north Queensland, so we don't have too many fighters coming out of that area representing that area either. So that's exciting for us. It means that we, have to go to Cairns, we have to go to Townsville, we have to go to Mackay, all these beautiful places up in far north Queensland. So I've got no complaints about that whatsoever. But I really look forward to introducing Liam Paro to the Australian public and getting him on this journey as he heads back to the top. He's been a world champion, and I know he'll be a world champion again.
Nice one. What can we expect in Newcastle in 2 weeks' time?
And I think fireworks. I'm watching these heavyweights move around here today. Brendan Gratch looks a lot faster. I think Liam Talivara has been known as being a really good mover for a heavyweight. He's got great hand speed, great footwork. Brendan Gratch has obviously been working on that for this rematch, because I think even though Brendan Gratch won that fight, people forget that Liam Talivara was this close from winning that the first time around. So it's a fight that I'm really excited about seeing. These big heavyweights, always love the heavyweights, of course, and they were fight of the year last time. They're a chance of doing it again this time. But we've also got another great fight in Cole Mazudia and Dan Hill on the card. So that's one again that could absolutely steal the show and be a great fight. We've got some young guys making a debut. We've got Callum Peters coming back. We're going to see more and more of Callum Peters. So anything could happen on this card. You're going to have to tune in. But when you watch it, watch the whole card. Don't just watch the main fight. Tune in and watch the whole card, because there's heaps of stars coming through.
Nice one. Thanks, George.
Thank you.